皆さんこんにちは。レック講師中小企業診断士の鳥居秀俊です。グローバル人材化のすすめと題しまして、日本のビジネスパーソンがビジネスのグローバル化に対応する必要性についてディスカッションをしたいと思います。本日はゲストとしてセブンスカイズ合同会社のシニアコンサルタントであるリカルド西本さんにお越しいただいています。Ricardo, thank you for coming. Using this opportunity, I'd like to discuss the need of Japanese business persons to be prepared for business globalization. And through our discussion, I'm expecting your views and suggestions based on your experiences. Let's start off our discussion by sharing with the audience the background of Seven Skies Company and yourself.
Thank you for inviting me, Hidetoshi. Seven Skies is a consulting company based in Tokyo, Japan, and Sydney, Australia. Specialized to provide services for global project and program management in several areas, such as airline, ERP, finance, IT, healthcare, manufacturing, etc. The company was founded back in 2006 by Tetsuya Joko and CJ Lankoma, who met each other when they were working in an airline industry alliance at Los Angeles. Seven Skies can provide assistance to initiate, plan, execute, and support customers' global projects.
Due to that global business nature, Seven Skies has bilingual consultants fluent both in English and Japanese to help the customers perform business globally, right?
That's correct, Hidetoshi. All of Seven Skies consultants can fluently communicate at least in 2 languages, including English and others.
That's fantastic. Then tell me a bit about yourself.
Sure. I was born in Brazil as a son of Japanese immigrants, and until 7 years old, my main language was Japanese. And I started to learn Portuguese when I started to go to school.
That's interesting. When did you start learning English?
Oh, in my university days. After graduating from the University of São Paulo in mechanical engineering, I started to work in I started to work in Japan for a Japanese electric company. And after a certain while, I was selected to improve the operations of a pilot implementation of ERP software in the company due to my business process understanding and English language abilities.
ERP is an enterprise resource planning package software or a solution to help companies efficiently perform their business processes, right?
That's right. Then I had lived in Hong Kong with several incursions in China to handle system-related tasks, including an implementation project for a manufacturing plant in China with a world-famous consulting firm as a partner. After that, my career began to expand, and I had lived in Thailand for some time, and back to Japan. I started to work in an American company which manufactured devices for cancer treatment and body imaging, dealing with maintenance service management systems. With this company, I had the opportunity to be in global projects in APAC, US, Europe, and Brazil as a project member and as a project manager. With the rich experiences as a project manager, I am a project management professional, PMP, certified by Project Management Institute, PMI, and I am an MBA holder as well.
Thank you, Ricardo. That explains you're such a global business person with excellent skills and experiences. Okay, with that in mind, let's move on to the next topic. Tell me a little bit about your views based on experiences, based on your experiences regarding Japanese business persons in terms of how good they are and what are the aspects to be improved in general.
Okay. As for a good side, I would say the Japanese business person in general have a very deep technical expertise, and they are very dedicated to the work, detail-oriented, and exceptional team workers. These are my observations from my business experience many years in Japan.
I believe those are obviously the strengths that Japanese business persons should leverage. On the other hand, what would you say are the aspects for Japanese business persons to improve?
Well, firstly, I would suggest Japanese business persons to pursue a better work-life balance. They tend to sacrifice personal lives and dedicate themselves to contribute more and more to the business work. But I think people should enjoy more their personal lives. That brings inspiration, and it is good for economy eventually. Well, according to the World Happiness Report, most recently published by United Nations, Japan ranks at 46th place, while many other countries in America, Europe, and Asia enjoy better rankings. This is because Japan gets only lower scores in a comfortable society perspective. And I think this justifies my view.
What is the rank of Brazil?
Well, Brazil ranks at 16th place. Secondly, it would be good for Japanese business persons to learn and understand more about frameworks of business practice. I find many good practices in Japanese business, such as Toyota's Kanban method. However, Japanese business practice are not always optimum and can be improved by using globally accepted business frameworks or best practices. As I mentioned, I have engaged in many ERP implementation projects in which global business best practices were proposed. And I often found people say that the best practices do not fit into the legacy business because Japanese ways are special. In many of such cases, people are just resisting change in their ways of doing business. But it is loss of opportunities to catch up with the world-class best practices in business. Finally, I want to point out that it is important for Japanese business persons to better understand and accept various cultures other than Japanese. It is because Japanese business is getting more and more global. More and more Japanese companies go out, and more people and companies are coming in Japan. Doing business in global situation, all people involved need to understand and accept dynamics of multicultural mixture.
When you say globalization of Japanese business world is growing, it is twofold. One is inbound and the other is outbound.
Yes.
Okay, you have just referred to the importance of business in global contexts. I agree that Japanese business is getting more and more global. And along that line, I'd like to discuss how this trend affects the Japanese business person at an individual level. So, as a next topic, can you tell me a little bit about your thoughts on what are the conditions of a global business person?
Language is the most obvious component and the starting point.
Yes, I agree that language proficiency is important. But I think Japanese people care too much about their grammar and try to use difficult words, which prohibits them from communicating smoothly.
Right. Don't be afraid of making mistakes and use easy words and sentences. in communicating in a foreign language. There are more requirements than that.
What is the additional requirement that you think is significantly important to be a global business person?
It is multicultural sense and understanding. I understand that until now, the domestic market was able to provide the required motion to the Japanese economy. But the macroeconomic scenario is changing, and the globalization is an irreversible fact. So we need to adapt to the new circumstances and learn what is required to play under this context. The multicultural sense requires understanding of diversity and how people, background, and position affects their expectations. And we need to work to align the expectations, personal and professional, to have productive business practices.
Is there any suggestion on how multicultural sense can be obtained?
The best way is to put yourself in the circumstances where there are people from multiple cultures. You can find such circumstances because you can easily find foreign people nowadays, even in Japan.
I see. What else would you point out?
Another challenge for a Japanese business person to deal with globalization resides on how foreigners think and practice business. There is a framework that they learn from the business schools, and there is a specific terminology to be used when talking business with them. What by their perspective is understood as literacy and expertise. The experience is essential to develop the skills and the footwork to build business relationships and deal with tough situations. And in the past, it was important for learning. But nowadays, the learning can come by studying, since the information is available now, with several institutions providing it, and also we have search engines as Google to help us locate them.
LEC is one of the institutes providing such learning opportunities in a wide variety of areas, including accountant, tax accountant, enterprise business consultant, etc., etc.
Yes, and what is good about LEC is not just providing learning opportunities, but those opportunities are linked to obtaining certificates or qualifications. In my case, the MBA course helped me acquire the literacy about the business framework and professional language used to talk about business. Also, the project management professional, PMI, gives me the immediate recognition worldwide as a project management expert. The MBA and PMP have made my business life easier because of the signaling effect. What it means is even when I meet people in the business context for the first time, I can easily let the people trust me on my professional knowledge and skills just because I hold the authoritative certificates.
Yes. The problem for most Japanese business persons to challenge MBA or maybe PMP is the restriction of investable time and budget. However, I believe Japanese domestic certificates with authority should work as a strength to be recognized as a global business person. Because globally accepted contents are contained in general in the course of studying for those certificates. On top, more and more licensed lawyers in Japan who can handle international legal incidents are needed. And another example is that I know a patent agent with a Japanese government license granted who joined a French company that handle global patent arrangement. and he's doing good jobs there. You can see more in the LEC website, www.lec-jp.com. I'd like to talk further on this topic, but unfortunately, we are running out of time, so I'm closing this discussion at this point. Again, thank you very much for coming, Ricardo. I believe this discussion has given the audience a good tip to become a global business person.
どういたしまして、また機会がありましたら呼んでください。